getting Jesus to reverse the effects of Genesis 3. You understand? You know what he is? He's doing things that no one else can do, isn't he? Not only that, one day they're out on the water. And as was his practice, he was, oh, I'm doing that. He's out on the water one day and he's tired. And he does what every good person does during a sermon, he falls asleep. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, he's sleeping in the stern of the boat, and all of a sudden, a storm comes in. Anybody here has been to the Middle East? Anybody here has been to Sea Galilee? Oh, a few of you have. Did you go on to Sea Galilee? Did you want to see Galilee? Yeah. Did a storm come up when you were out there?
No, fortunately, no.
No, we were out there and it did. Oh, that was wild. It was a day, and all of a sudden, the wind just started coming in off the Mediterranean. It hits the Golan Heights, and it begins to whip back around, and all of a sudden, you're standing there and you say, ooh, a little chill. And then you start doing this. The boat's doing this. Boom, 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 boom. And oh my gosh, it was frightening. Jesus was on the boat. Don't you care that we're all going to what? What does he do? Shh. Hush. Be still. And what? I'll tell you a real story. Connie's favorite parties, right? And Connie doesn't tell stories. I embellish stories. Connie doesn't. In 1998, we went to Israel. Went with a study group. Went out on the Sea of Galilee one day. And I had a study that day, and I thought, well, since we're on the Sea of Galilee, might as well use my chapter 4, right? Hoorah! So I get out there and I'm teaching away. Yakking away, and all of a sudden the boat's going like this, and I'm catching my eye, what's going on? And I'm getting nervous, and I'm going, well, I'm not going to stop. You know, everybody's getting a little green, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there, and I read the words of Jesus. This is no lie. Pastor, right? I read the words of Jesus. Hush! Be still! The boat was not like this. This is what happened. So they're going, whoa. Which is about maybe 10 minutes away. He docks the boat, and this is what he said. Movies for me. Well, that's not the end of the story. That summer, we were with a bunch of preachers. You know, preachers can make me nervous anyway. Every time there's more than 3 preachers around, I break out in a rash. But anyway. So anyway, we were down at the youth gathering. And Elsie mentioned youth gathering in it was Atlanta, right? Yeah, it was our youth gathering in Atlanta. And it's in these huge convention halls. And I'm going down an escalator. Connie's right next to me. Go down an escalator. And down at the bottom, I see a face of another gentleman. And I go, I should know that face. I'm going, he's going. And we're watching him like this. And he's doing this. And as we pass each other, I'm doing this, he's doing this, and all of a sudden, this is what he yelled out. Sea of Galilee! Sea of Galilee! Oh, that's right! after that he created the universe, he didn't go to the storm. And it stopped what? Can you imagine the disciples? Can you imagine Peter, James, and John, as I love affectionately called bananas? He said, even the wind and the waves will fail. And guess what? Even the demons can't get even heal a lot. Then he does something most incredible. It's a 12-year-old girl. Real sick. The Lost Children's Hospital building. The father was at wit's end. Parents, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? You'll do what? Parents, you'll do what? What your child said. Right? Anything, right? Anything humanly possible. And even divinely possible, right? For your child. He finds Jesus. He says, my daughter's dying. Can you come quick? Can you come quick? And Jesus says, sure. And all of a sudden, boom. He's way late to the line. A woman had been ill for 12 years. Just reaches out. A woman just reached through Christ. And she knows she just touched her, she'd be what? Healed. And she did. And Jesus starts a conversation with her. And then when the conversation is done, some very caring men from his community came back and said, hey, don't bother me anymore, your daughter's dead. Oh, well, good for you. And Jesus said to him, what? Anybody remember? Doesn't say that. He says, just do it. They get to the house. Mark chapter 5. They get to the house and something interesting happens. Do you remember the scene when he gets to the house? There's outside the house doing this. You know what they were? Professional mourners, Ken. They were paid to mourn. I always said that'd be a great job for me. I'd do a good job. And I'd stand up and sign up for that job. That'd be great to get paid to wail. Wow! I could whine with the best of them. I could. Wouldn't you? You like it. Oh, great job. John and I could do that job, right? We're starting to do it. Professional mourners.
Women we hang around with, gee.
Anybody have some nails? I'm taking my Bible back. I'm not. I'm nervous. I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The professional mourners there. And Jesus walks up and he says, what? He says, what's all the commotion? The child's not dead. She's just what? Sleeping. Oh, I remember that, don't you? And the mourners do what? They all start what? Anybody remember? Laughing. They started laughing at him. Because the mourners knew what? Death. He threw everybody out. Takes mom and dad, Peter, James, and John, and he says to the little girl what? To leave the room. Which means what? Death. She gets up. And then he said to her parents, take her down to McDonald's, get her a Happy Meal. She deserves a Happy Meal after all this. Right? Do you understand? Do you see what he's just done in his ministry? He has literally began the process of reversing the fall of sin. The devil. The process of death begins with illness. Man is out of whack. Nature goes out of whack. Finally, death. He's beginning to reverse it. All of himself. What's St. Paul's favorite phrase throughout all of his epistles? Two words. I am C-H-R-I Yes. In Christ. As we are in Christ by the very waters of baptism, by the very power of the sacrament, and by the very power of the Word, guess what? We are living now in the reversal of the effects of the fall into sin. We are in Christ, and guess what? He is healing us. Now to where I want to get. I needed a 20-minute intro. In chapter 8 of Mark, turn off, you turn there, please. Chapter 8. You have a Bible? Chapter 8. This doesn't sound like Lutheran. I like that. We have Bible study, you know, and we have all these Bible studies up at St. Peter's, and people who don't know me, they sign up for their first Bible study and they come without one. And they said, why do you know I needed a Bible? That's okay. Don't bother me. Just having fun. I figured I'd have fun. Look what happens in chapter 8, beginning of verse 22. They came to Bethsaida, that's Jesus and the disciples, and some brought to him a blind man and begged him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, led him out of the village, and when he had spit on his eyes, he laid his hands on him and he asked him, do you see anything? And he looked up and he said, I see men, but they look like what? Trees walking. Oh, there's a statement, isn't it? And Jesus laid his hands on him again. He opened his eyes and his sight was restored, and he saw everything what? Clearly. You see clearly? Or is it little what? Blurry. Oh, we got in my 7th and 8th grade confirmation class, we have one young lady in there who believes she's smarter than everybody on the planet, which is fine. I love it. We need somebody smarter than everybody on the planet. And I like to create words. I make up words because I think they're kind of fun to make up, because no one knows if you're serious or not. So I thought I had made up a word. Here's the word I thought I had made up. It's called blurredly. I was having fun with it. Yes. Do you see everything blurredly, blurredly, blurredly? I kept saying blurredly, blurredly, blurredly. And she raises her hand and she says to me, that is not a word. I said, well, good for you. And she said to me, the word is bleary. I said, well, good for me. So you know what I did the next week? I looked in a dictionary. Did you know that blurredly is a word? It's an adjective. So guess what I did next Wednesday night? I walked into class and I said, guess what? I said, blurredly is a word! She said to me, I'm going to look in the dictionary. I said, I got one right here. Look. You've got to keep them on it. You don't take it out of here. So anyway, what happens? Do you see it blurred?